A plate of dumplings arrives at the table. They look soft, pale, and familiar. But flip one over, and everything changes. The bottom is deep golden brown, and it crackles. That crispy base is not a happy accident. It is the entire identity of the dish. These are gyoza, Japan's beloved dumplings. And they are defined less by what is inside them than by how they are cooked. That one idea is the whole key. With gyoza, the technique matters more than the recipe. By the end of this video, you will understand why the crispy bottom changes everything. And why gyoza is not really just a dumpling. There is a clever bit of engineering in every bite, so let's decode it. First, the basics. Gyoza are small dumplings, usually filled with pork, cabbage, garlic, and chives, wrapped in a thin dough. They are one of the most popular comfort foods in Japan. You will find them in ramen shops, in supermarkets, and in home kitchens everywhere. They are cheap, quick, and endlessly satisfying. Few foods are this loved across every part of Japanese life. Kids eat them, students eat them, families eat them. They are pure, everyday comfort. But gyoza did not start in Japan. They came from the Chinese dumpling, the jiaozi. Japanese soldiers and travelers brought the idea home in the 20th century. And then Japan slowly made it into something of its own. It kept the basic shape, but changed almost everything about how it is made and eaten. Over a few decades, gyoza became unmistakably Japanese. And quickly, before we go deeper, thank you for actually watching this, instead of just scrolling past it. Stick around, because the cooking method behind the crispy bottom is cleverer than it looks. So how is Japanese gyoza different from its Chinese ancestor? It comes down to a few key changes. The first is the wrapper. Gyoza wrappers are thinner and more delicate than most Chinese dumpling skins. That thinness matters enormously, and we will see exactly why in a moment. A thick, chewy skin is built for boiling. A thin, delicate one is built to crisp. The second change is the filling. Gyoza filling is chopped very fine, almost into a smooth paste. The cabbage and pork are minced small and blended together. The result is a tender, juicy filling with no big chunks. When you bite in, the whole thing gives way at once. There is no fighting with a stray chunk of cabbage. That fine texture means the filling cooks fast and evenly. It almost melts against the crisp shell. And the third change is the flavor. Japanese gyoza lean hard into garlic. They are punchy, savory, and bold, with a real garlic kick. Chinese jiaozi are often milder. Japanese gyoza are unafraid to be bold. So already, gyoza are thinner, finer, and more garlicky than the original. But none of that is the real signature. Quick note before the second half. I have full, separate breakdowns of the ramen these usually sit beside and the soy sauce in the dip. You will find them at the end of this video and linked in the description. So if one grabs you, you can head straight there. Now to the part that truly defines gyoza. The way they are cooked. The classic Japanese style is called yaki gyoza, meaning pan-fried gyoza. And the method is genuinely clever. It happens in 3 stages, in a single hot pan. First, fry, then, steam, then, fry again. It sounds fussy, but it all happens in about 5 minutes. And it is the reason the texture is so special. It is a technique any home cook can learn, but getting it just right takes a little practice. Let's walk through it. The dumplings go into a hot, oiled pan, flat side down. The bottoms sizzle and start to turn golden and crisp. The oil and the direct heat work fast. In under a minute, the bottoms are already browning. This is stage 1, and it builds the crunchy base. Then comes the surprise. The cook pours water into the pan and quickly slams on a lid. The water hits the hot pan and erupts into steam. That trapped steam gently cooks the tops of the dumplings and the filling inside. Steam is gentle and even, so nothing dries out. It cooks the delicate top without touching the crisp bottom. This is the secret to the texture. The bottoms are frying, while the tops are steaming, all at the same time. That is why the thin wrapper matters so much. A thick wrapper would still be raw and doughy on top. The thin gyoza skin cooks through in seconds. It lets the steam finish the top while the base crisps below. After a minute or two, the water has boiled away. And now the pan is dry and hot again. So the bottoms fry a second time, crisping up even harder. That second fry is what makes all the difference. It takes a soft base and turns it truly crunchy. Fry, steam, then fry again. The result is a single dumpling with two completely different textures. A shattering, crunchy golden base, and a soft, juicy steamed top. That contrast is the whole magic of gyoza. Crisp and tender, in the very same bite. Your teeth hit the crunch first, then sink into the soft, hot filling. That 1-2 texture is the whole thrill. And there is often a beautiful bonus. Sometimes the cook pours in a thin slurry of flour and water instead of plain water. As it cooks, that slurry dries into a lacy, crackly sheet that connects all the dumplings. This crispy skirt is called hain, which means wings. It is the same idea as the cheese skirt on a fried egg. Thin batter, high heat, lacy crunch. You lift the whole batch out as one connected piece, edged with that golden lace. It looks stunning, and it is pure crunch. A good hain makes the entire plate feel like a treat. It is crispiness you can see before you even taste it. Now, gyoza are almost always served with a dipping sauce. And it is a simple, sharp little mix. Usually soy sauce and rice vinegar, often with a few drops of chili oil called ryu. The vinegar cuts the richness, and the chili adds warmth. There is no heavy, sweet sauce here. The dip is sharp and clean, so the gyoza stays the star. You dip the crispy bottom lightly and eat. The sauce is there to brighten the gyoza, never to drown it. And gyoza rarely travel alone. In Japan, they are the classic partner to a bowl of ramen. Crispy, garlicky dumplings on the side of a rich, hot bowl of noodles. The crunch of the gyoza against the softness of the noodles just works. It is one of the great comfort food pairings. A texture match made in heaven. Order a bowl of ramen almost anywhere, and gyoza will be right there on the menu. They grew up together. But here's what most people miss. The real identity of gyoza is not the dumpling, or even the filling. It is the method. That fry, steam, and fry again technique is what makes a gyoza a gyoza. Take the exact same dumpling and just boil it, and you have something else entirely. Boil it and it is a nice dumpling. Fry it that way, and it becomes gyoza. Japan did not invent the dumpling. What Japan did was reinvent how it is cooked. It took a soft, boiled Chinese dumpling and turned it into a study in contrast. And that contrast comes from the pan, not the filling. The method is the dish. Crunch against softness, in one small package. That is a pattern we keep seeing in Japanese food. A humble idea, refined through technique into something with its own clear character. The dumpling came from elsewhere. The crispy bottom, the thin skin, and the garlic punch made it unmistakably Japanese. It is a perfect little example of how Japan adopts an idea and refines it. Nothing is simply copied, everything is reworked. So the next time gyoza arrive, do the test. Turn one over and look at that golden, crackling base. That base is the whole story. It is the difference between a dumpling and a gyoza. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Your eyes go straight to that golden crust every time. So here is your takeaway. Gyoza is not defined by being a dumpling. It is defined by the method that gives it a crispy bottom and a tender top. Same idea as a Chinese dumpling, but reinvented around texture and technique. Now I would genuinely love to know. Are you a crispy bottom purist, or do you love them any way you can get them? Tell me in the comments below. And here is the one moment I will actually ask. If this gave you a new appreciation for that little dumpling, leave a like, it really helps the channel grow. And subscribe if you want more of Japanese Food Decoded, one dish at a time. To go deeper right now, the video on the left breaks down ramen, gyoza's perfect partner. And on the right, you can decode miso, another pillar of Japanese flavor. See you in the next one.